Still a tight one here at the Dunkin' Donuts Center. Just a 1-point lead for the Providence College Friars. We'll take a look at our Pontiac game-changing performance. The move by Hazelton here.
It's a great move, too. He just took his move to another level with that one as he got the Rams back into this one with that beautiful power move. And I thought that was a good move by Cote, but Montplaisir has come up with a couple of terrific blocks, ignited things on the offensive end. And the Rams, give them credit, Andy, they're right back in this ballgame. It's a 1-point game. They've struggled shooting it, but they've played well on defense, and they've been terrific on the boards.
J.R. Moore, 75%, but misses a big one, which would have tied it. He still has another chance.
Yeah, the Rams come into this game shooting just 65% as a team, and free throws could be critical in this one as we get down to the later stages of the ballgame.
Tied up at 33. Still very low scoring game. More than 5 minutes into the second half.
I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Tim Welsh go to some pressure defense and get the Friars to score. See if they might put some full court pressure on to see if they can open this game up a bit.
Cote is then cut off by Moore in the blocks. Back to Cote. Left-handed move. Gomes from 3. Too strong. Even Gomes has gone cold.
And it's outside jump shots. Rhode Island doing a good job to keep between their man and the basket defensively. And again, limiting the Friars to just one look at the offensive end.
Montplaisir with Gomes on him.
See, this is the tempo right now that I think Jim Barron likes. One shot on the defensive end, get the ball, and then get a good look, but just don't turn the thing over. Work some clock. Good D by the Friars.
Great anticipation from Gomes. Here's McGrath, still scoreless today, and remains scoreless. Sullivan out of the pack with it.
Got to keep looking for it. Block everything out. That's a good look by McGrath.
He hit his first shot in the last game against Winthrop, and now he gets the steal, and then he's fouled. McGrath hit his first shot against Winthrop, did not score the rest of the game, and he's still scoreless today.
And that's actually a bad break for him right there. He comes up with a steal. It's almost like, to me, I'd almost rather see a no call there because McGrath's going to go in and get a layup, and you get that reach-in situation.
That's Ty Sullivan picking up his third, so he'll come out. And Randy Brooks, the senior from where else? Waterbury, coming back in. 3 personals for Ty Sullivan, the junior, out of New Haven. And Brooks back in fellow Connecticut native. Dwight Brewington without a point today. Here's McGrath. Guarded by Randy Brooks.
Gomes really working to get it. They can't get it to him, though.
Nice spin by Brewington to finally convert one. And a 2-point lead for the Friars.
That is huge because that gets Brewington on the board. He's averaging better than 16 a game. And he's a guy that can get hot. But again, the pace of this game right now can be a little frustrating if you're a scorer because this is turning into a possession game here, but there's a lot of time left to go.
More than 7 minutes gone here in the second half. Brooks bounces it far side to Bate. Hankey defensively going up and commits the personal. J.R. Moore with the offensive move. And that's Randall Hankey's third of the day. J.R. Moore to the line for 2 shots. 1 out of 2, he's 75%.
Big people have done a pretty nice job for URI today. Moore coming into the game, 6'8", he's 245. He's done a pretty good job on the boards, making some strong moves inside now. He's from Portland, playing with a sore back, but he's a big, strong kid.
Second one coming, no good, and another offensive rebound. What a tip.
Scott Hazelton, if you can't control it and you're in the paint area there during a free throw, tip it out to a teammate. Great job by the big man.
It's the equivalent of a long rebound.
That's just heads up. That's when you know what you're doing out there. Give yourself a chance, give your team a chance. You like to see a heads up play like that.
Herbert Hill replaces Randall Hankey, and we'll see Terrence Mack back into the game replacing Marcel Montplaisir. Offensive rebounds, URI 17-5.
It's really kept them right in this ball game today, and that's a lot of that is just grit and determination. And on the defensive end, it just stresses you've got to box out, block people out, want the ball more than your opponent.
Gomes overplayed Mack. And it'll stay with Rhode Island.
I'm not convinced that Mack didn't just toss that out at the end. Looked like he had nowhere to go and he was in the air. Might have caught a break right there.
Shot clock is at 7 as the Rams inbound. Brooks looking for somebody. And kicked away by Donnie McGrath.
I think they're going to look for Hazelton here. Going to screen down for him. Hazelton's on the weak side right now. Let's see if they can free the big man up for a jumper.
And the question of shot clock right now, if it's a kick, it goes back to 35, but no. So he did not kick it out, so it goes down to 6.
Yeah, no, that was just a deflection.
Brooks looking for somebody, and finally Hazelton back near half court. They've got to hurry. Long three-pointer, and it goes!
Wow, what a play, what a shot by Hazelton. He's pumped out there.
13 points for senior Scott Hazelton. He gives URI the lead and has a chance for a 4-point play.
Coty with the reach, a chance for the 4-point play. His teammates up, they're pumped. And this is what I'm talking about with regard to confidence. The Rams feeling it right now. Friars are struggling on the offensive end, and the Rams now saying, hey, we can play with the Friars. Look at Ty Sullivan on the bench, and for Providence, block it all out, turn it around with a good possession right here. I try to get Gomes and/or Brewington involved in this set.
3-point lead for the Rams. Brewington has it stripped away and was fouled by Parfait Bate.
Not a bad foul by Bate. Brewington going for it without a doubt. And until you get to the bonus situation, it's just a matter of taking the ball out of bounds. Rams are in a man-to-man set right now.
Just about to the 12-minute mark. Tried to dump it to Herbert Hill, never really had the handle. And the Rams with a 3-point lead and the ball.
These are the kind of turnovers that really, bother you as a coach, because you just want to get the ball inbounds, kick it out if you have to, but don't force it in there and throw it away.
And time called by Jim Barron.
Didn't like what he saw. He thought things were out of sync. So he says, hey, let's take a 30 and get a good look.
38-35. URI has themselves with a 3-point lead on this play. It turned into a 4-point play. Three-point lead for the Rhode Island Rams. They've got the ball as well. And we think about last year's ball game between these two teams. What a different ball game with regard to pacing.
Well, that game was more up and down. Scott Hazelton, in street clothes a year ago. So there's a big difference right there. But people like Dustin Hellinger and DeJuan Robinson, who URI thinks will start practicing soon, and they celebrated in Rhode Island last year, as the last 2 years the Rams have been victorious. And there's DeJuan Robinson, preseason first team Atlantic 10 selection. Terrific backcourt player out of Philadelphia, and nothing harder than having to be in the street clothes and watching games that you want to get out there and perform in.
He's hoping to start practicing by the end of next week. Shot clock is at 4. And Rhode Island is hot offensively. They've got a 5-point lead.
A little trapping pressure by Providence, and people stepping up now for the Rams. They're feeling really good right now. Get the ball to Gomes. It's a zone in there by URI.
And McGrath still can't connect from 3. It'll stay with the Friars.
Good look, though. He's frustrated. He needs one to go down, but McGrath right on it with those shots. Last 2 have been right there. They just haven't gone down.
11:07 to go in this ball game, and the Rams have opened up their largest lead of the game on the shot from Randy Brooks.
What are you holding now?
A six-pack.
A six-pack? Brilliant! What's it do?
Well, I figured out how to carry 6 beers at the same time.
Carry 6 beers at the same time? Brilliant! Let's drink them.
You know, I've been thinking, it might not be the smartest idea to drink 6 beers at the same time.
Don't drink 6 beers at the same time. Brilliant!
Brilliant!
Drink Guinness Draught straight from the bottle and always enjoy it responsibly.
Brilliant!
BMW Holiday Sales Drive. Lease the 2005 BMW 525i for $469 a month, only through January 3rd.
Five-point lead for the Rhody Rams here against the Providence College Friars. 11:07 to go in the ball game. Here, let's take a look now at our BMW Ultimate Drive of the game. Dwight Brewington, he was hoping this might get him hot, but it's still his only 2 points of the game.
That's a nice move. There's your spin move right there. That's what made that such a great drive. He knows how to break people down, but it's, again, his only goal of the game. Needs to look for more of that. You can see his season average better than 16 a game. And again, game like this, still a lot of time to go. Just look for it. Don't force it, and it may just come your way. Trapping 2-3 right now by URI. They've done a nice job with the man-to-man. Turn this into a half-court type of game, and they've rebounded well here this afternoon.
Here's McGrath. Back to Brewington. Jumps it up, and too strong. Herbert Hill fighting for the rebound with Mack. It will stay with the Friars.
Good example, though, of where the Rams have good rebounding position. They can't get the job done right there. But they've been limiting the Friars to just the one shot here today.
They lead in rebounds today, 33-16. Remarkable difference. Brewington tries to weave through the zone. Here is Cote going baseline. Up and under move, can't get it to go. Gomes' tip won't go, and it'll belong to the Rams.
And again, McGrath had open looks that time. He's just hesitant to take it. And he's typically been a strong zone buster for the Friars. Got to look for the shot. Good shooters. Sometimes you have to shoot your way out of it.
Brooks bounces it off to Moore. Hazelton has had some big points here in the second half. Around Cote, off the glass, tip won't go. Brewington will ignite the transition. And an overplay foul by Vite. Not a terrible foul. That's his second, but he cut off what could have been an easy 2.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad foul. That is the 15th foul for the Rams. You don't give up an easy transition basket.
But Gomes has been very quiet from the scoring column. Only 8 points here with less than 10 to go in the game.
The key thing is that this has turned into a half-court set because the Rams have done such a good job on the boards. And right now, this is the way they want to play it. The, lowest scoring, every possession counts, that kind of thing.
Lock on Terrence Mack. Gomes had 25 points last year against Rhode Island, but from what you're saying, it almost seems like that's impossible today because of the pace of this game.
Well, the way it's going now, you see this 40-35 score up there. Only way this could open up more is if Providence starts to press and get some baskets going in spurts.
Brewington Off the mark on the three-point attempt.
This zone right now, it's a one-and-you're-done situation for the Friars. They're not shooting it well. So the way the Friars have to play it now is they've got to play, very good defense and defensive rebound themselves, where they've struggled today, and look to push it up the floor.
And Hill gets a block from out of nowhere, and he's hurt, still on the floor. So a 4-on-5. And Hill is in pain on the floor right now as Brewington misses the running one-hander.
Good defense by URI. They got back and transition, didn't allow the break. That was the kind of thing I was talking about. The Friars play the D, get out and break, but again, don't turn up an easy shot.
Three-point attempt missed. Coty chases it down. And Gomes trying to go to the hoop was fouled by Brooks.
Herbert Hill with the rejection. I think he stepped on a foot though on his way down, rolled his ankle. A strong defensive effort. That is so painful when the feet, many of them are rather large feet these days, to get all tangled up with each other. And when you're 6'9", 220, that's a lot of pressure coming down on the ankle when it rolls over. That is a painful feeling.
Gomes last year up near 80% free throws. This year just 63%. First points in a while for the Friars. Lots of changes for both teams. You see Sullivan back into the game for Rhody. 3 out of 5 change in the rotation here for Jim Barron's group. Randy Brooks goes out. Will Daniels into the game. Montplaisir back in the game as well. Randall Hankey comes in to replace Herbert Hill. And Gerald Brown spells Donnie McGrath for the Friars.
Yeah, both coaches have gone really deep into their benches, done a nice job to rest key players in this game.
Gomes 1 of 2. And Hazelton outfights Brewington for the loose ball. And it's still going to belong to Rhody.
Hazelton been quiet the last few minutes for the Rams. It seems like when they need a big basket, they go to him. Nice adjustment right here by Providence. Full court pressure. See if they can pick the pace of this thing up by getting out full court.
Nice job by the Rams to break it with a pass. Sullivan trapped in the corner, able to get the timeout call.
Great trap down in the corner. They had the 5'8" man buried down there.
Well, we saw the trap really only one time in the first half, and it worked to perfection for the Rams. And this time it works again. And if you trap little Ty Sullivan in the corner, he's only 5'8", not a whole lot of room for him to go.
Yeah, they guided him right into the corner. I think URI, the way they're playing this game, if they can break the pressure, they'll be content to just work the clock. You know, Providence has really struggled just scoring 1 point in the last 4 minutes and 40 seconds. So Tim Welsh doing what we thought he might, which is to try to extend some pressure, see if he can get a couple of steals going, and if nothing else, just cause Rhode Island even to shoot the ball more quickly.
You can see when the Rams are going to that zone, and the Friars aren't shooting well. I mean, 1 point in that last 4:40, but the obvious underscore there is no field goals during that time. That's a very long stretch in what has been a close and very low-scoring game today.
I think free throws will be critical, too, in the last 8 minutes of this game. You've got the Rams are in the, they've committed 7 fouls, so Providence is going to be going the line. And for the Friars, just 14 fouls. So they have a couple of fouls to work with here. And for URI, they need to remember to continue to try to take some action to the goal.
This is Sullivan. Finds himself open from 18 and misses. The tip won't go. Another follow-up won't go. Boy, Will Daniels just could not find the hoop there.
Good opportunities again. The Rams just have trouble capitalizing.
Gomes! What an amazing attempt that time.
That's highlight time if that one goes down with his back to the basket.
He's going to shoot 2 anyway. Will Daniels picks up the personal.
See, I think one of the best things about Gomes' offensive game is his ability to draw fouls. Here's the whistle, so again, instinctively what's very smart there is just throw the ball up and make sure you get yourself to 2 free throws. He's put an awful lot of points up on the board over the years. His big scoring games, he'll have 8 to 10 free throws from the line.
Charlie Burt's in now as he replaces Tuka Coty. 10 points for Gomes. Lead cut to 3 for Rhody. Both teams pretty solid from the line to this point, and Gomes hits another. He's got 11 points. And Rob McKeever is going to check into the game. A freshman. For his first minutes, he spells Dwight Brewington. Here comes the full court press for the Friars.
Good move. It's causing some problems. He's getting the ball over half court for Rhody.
Hazelton, too strong from 15, and the tip won't go by Daniels. And how about another offensive rebound?
And a fresh 35. Providence just hasn't done the job with those defensive boards, but no harm done with the pressure. They put the pressure on, and even if, and what it did is it caused Hazelton to take a quicker shot that time.
Sullivan from 3, no good. Hankey on the boards. McKeever, outlets to Gomes. Around the back he goes, and off the glass.
Showtime with that move. That was a great shifting move by Gomes.
That also gets the partisan crowd back into it. And the Rams break the press anyway. Nice job by Rhode Island. Hazelton tries to answer back, and he will shoot 2.
Great pressure by Providence. Again, this is exactly what they want. The score and the press to try to pick the tempo right up.
Ryan Gomes trying to carry his teammates on his shoulders. We're tied up. .7-11 to go in the ball game, and nothing decided yet. 40-40 tie.
Ryan Gomes that last time before the timeout. What a beautiful move. Backcourt style behind the back in Providence with the full court pressure. Tim Welsh saying now we got to really extend, get after it. And Ty Sullivan at 5'8", really trapped, but does a good job. And to Rhode Island's credit, now they're saying, hey, if we have the numbers, we're going to try to attack and then try to get the ball up to Scott Hazelton at the offensive end, and he draws the foul. So good work all the way around by both clubs. And for Providence, a quicker pace, which is what they'd like right now.
One thing about Rhode Island, even with the press that Providence has put on, only 3 turnovers in this half.
Yeah, that's a pretty good job right there. Both teams now picking up the pace a little bit at the offensive end. Again, just 29% shooting for Rhode Island, but they've played good defense, and the board work has really been outstanding today.
Hazelton puts his group back on top by 1. Make it 2. URI by a bucket, and Hazelton on his average right now, 16 points.
Scott Hazelton, a local Massachusetts kid, Central Catholic High School. He's from Somerville, Mass. University of Connecticut. 2-3 zone by the Rams. Donnie McGrath still on the bench.
Here's McKeever. Gomes has it, launches a 3, and off the front rim. Follows his shot, won't work, and Brown out of the pack with it. He'll try a 3, and that one's too strong. And he gets it back anyway. Pull away from Hankey. Bad angle down for Randall Hankey, but fast and furious.
All kinds of chances for the Friars. URI, looked like they had 1 or 2 of those rebounds and took it from each other. And this is a possession game with just 6+ to go. Got to convert. You got to be good with the ball. Limit turnovers.
Brooks to Hazelton. 4-point lead for Rhody.
Great penetration that time. You've got to stay between your man and the basket right now. Tim Welsh wants to talk it over. Jim Barron right now saying he likes the way this game's playing. He knows they're going to see full court pressure. He likes the way his team is defending and rebounding right now. Just going to stress, take good care of the ball at the offensive end. Check out this action right here. That was great penetration by Randy Brooks. When we penetrate like that, good things happen. See, a little bit too much on the gamble right there. Now you got 3 or 4 white jerseys converging on Brooks. Keep your head up, and you got openings, and there's Scott Hazelton.
Double-double today for Scott Hazelton. 18 points, 10 rebounds, each over his average.
But we said at the beginning, Andy, if URI was going to win this game and pull off the upset here today, Hazelton had to have a big game. Not an average game, not a single-digit game, but a big game. He had 23 earlier in the year against Manhattan. That kind of game, and he's, you really good players step up for these kind of games. They love it.
And we were both thinking, too, that if URI was going to pull off the upset, it would be low scoring, and URI would use the zone to great effect. All of that has happened today.
Well, that's right. The Winthrop game, the upset loss for Providence. That's what Winthrop did in the second half. And, right now, people need to step up for Providence. They're in a battle.
And McGrath has it stripped away from behind. And the Friars get one right back.
Well, careless by both teams.
And then,
too much dribbling.
Yeah, Brooks tipped it away from Brewington. The starting 5 back on the court here for the Friars.
Got to move the ball right now. It's a good example where coaches say move the ball, don't over dribble. And that's what happened both times down the court.
Gomes pops out for it.
The coaches are always stressing the fundamentals. Good passing, good looks.
Down the lane, Brewington. Off the glass. He still can't get on track today.
He's a little frustrated right now. He's trying to maybe do too much right there with the one-on-one move. No one really around to offensive rebound when you go like that. Providence has a foul to give. They've got 5 team fouls. They could reach. If you're being beat, you better have to reach and send Rhode Island out of bounds with the ball.
Hazelton gets fouled by Gomes, and he knew it. Hazelton is trying to carry his team. Gomes is trying to do the same. Both stars are trying to be stars.
Now that's what you like. You get into these kind of games, you should see Hazelton taking big shots for the Rams, and Gomes, of course, what a marquee matchup. The up fake got Gomes up in the air. And again, if he fouled him on the floor before he went into his shooting motion, it would be out of bounds. Good job by Hazelton to get the shot off and draw the 2-shot foul.
It is just the 16th foul for the Friars. Hazelton hits it. 5-point lead again. URI's opened it back up to a 2-possession game.
Hazelton, a very highly touted high school player, went to the University of Connecticut, transferred over to URI. He's had a lot of problems with his feet over the last couple years with stress fractures, but they look fine today. He's playing well. And for Providence right now, down 6, they really need a basket here and to get into some pressure. See if they get Gomes involved.
Biggest lead of the day for Rhode, and a steal in the backcourt.
And McGrath really struggling right now, not only shooting it, but handling the ball. He's just got to shake it off and work hard out there.
Hazelton on the sideline. Over Gomes. Way too hard, and Cote's got it. And he didn't see Brooks from behind.
There's the dribbling again. Get it to your backcourt, people. Bring it up. Jim Barron right now, he's got his team in a patient half-court set. They want to work some clock. There's still a lot of time left in this game, though. Both teams have timeouts to work with as well. Couple for the Friars, 1 for the Rams, plus they both got 30 seconds, so 10 to go on the shot clock. You got to be good right now.
Hazelton wants a clear out. And threw it away to Hankey. Here comes Cote. And cashes it in.
That's a huge exchange right there. Good defense by the Friars, and a big basket again by Cote, under control.
With under 4 minutes to go, a 4-point lead.
But what did we say at the beginning? You can throw records out when you come into this game. It's been a great rivalry over the years, and we're seeing it again today.
And URI looking for their 3rd consecutive win over Providence. Lots of time left, 3:48. URI calling the timeout here, but 46-42, and that man Hazelton has just been huge.
Now we're down to crunch time, 3:48 to go. You want the ball in the hands of guys that would be dependable. Cote avoids, an offensive foul there. He's very under control. Knew exactly what he was doing. Great finish. You want Gomes to get big shots for Providence. You want Hazelton to get the looks for the Rams. And very important here is you want to get good looks. So you want to, the teams that win these games don't make foolish, sort of turnovers. And free throws will be big as well.
Tuka Cote with that last basket leads his troops back onto the court. Scott Hazelton, the senior, Somerville, does the same for the Rams. And Randy Brooks will inbound it here for URI.
Yeah, it's a great rivalry, and the other thing that's great here is for URI, pre-Atlantic 10 conference games, and for the Friars before they get into the Big East battle. These are the kind of battles they'll both be in, game in, game out, starting in January. Nice trap by the Friars. They're in a real trapping zone right now. Great action.
Down the lane, Montpellier, and he will go to the line.
The thing with the trapping is you put the pressure on, but there's some gambling going on as well, so you've got to be aggressive with the ball, and Montplaisir was.
3 minutes, 28 seconds to go in this one. The URI Rams with a 4-point lead here in Providence. Four-point game, URI hanging on here in Providence, 46-42. Less than 3.5 to go in the ball game here. And another low-scoring affair, but it is working out in URI's favor at the moment. As Tim Welsh with Donnie McGrath on the bench here within the last 3.5, and the newcomer McKeever having to play the point.
And McGrath had gone back out but was struggling with the ball, so he's back to the bench. And McKeever is out there, so it's just been a struggling day for McGrath. And I think Tim Welsh saying, hey, we got to go this way with Ryan Gomes, your defensive man today.
Brought to you by Cooper Tire, defensive player of the game, 5 steals, 4 boards.
He does it all. I mean, you know, you don't see all those kind of numbers showing up in the box score. And the other thing is he takes a lot of the big shots for Providence, and I'm sure he will be their go-to guy again down the stretch.
Yeah, we had mentioned early on about the lack of successful free throw shooting for these teams this year, both around 60%, but both teams have shot it well today, and in a low-scoring game, that makes a huge difference. Montplaisir looking for his 9th point and gets it.
He's played well today. I mean, you've gotten pretty good balance from the Rams today. Montplaisir has stepped up, and you know, the big guy, though, has been Hazelton.
Coetzee to Brewington. Brewington is going to help set up the offense of the point for the Providence College Friars.
2-3 zone. The outside shot will be the biggest thing that should open up. There it is.
Coetzee too short. Gomes with an offensive rebound and blocked and fouled from behind by Hazelton. And Gomes trying to act as commander here for PC.
That's that short jump shot. And a couple of times, too, it looks like the Rams are able to get the rebound, but 2 guys go for it. And that was a fortunate bounce right there to Ryan Gomes.
It's the first 5-point game.
The thing about Gomes, as you look at Tim Welsh, definitely down on one knee, and you know, certainly concerned about this thing right now. But again, with Gomes, you know, get it to him and get it to him a lot down the stretch. See some pressure by Providence after the make.
4-point game. Here comes the press. Vitae trying to get it in bounds and does. Very close.
You need 5 seconds there. This looks like an adventure right now. You got to get over midcourt by 10.
And they just barely do it.
Yeah, it was 26 on the shot clock. That was an adventure.
Less than a second from it going off.
The guards really have to play well for you right now, and it's Sullivan and Parfait, Vitae. So you've got a lot of pressure on guys that have not been in these situations much.
Sullivan over McKeever. Chases down the rebound. Montplaisir, and it is back to a 6-point lead.
Well, it's been loose balls and offensive rebounds. That's where Rhode Island has done it here today, in scrambling again for that one.
2:15 to go. Brewington. And a foul. Gomes converts. Will try to convert a 3-point play.
I mean, Gomes. He's always around the ball, and that's why he's an All-American and why he was picked as the preseason player of the year in the Big East this year. He's always around it, scrambling. He's under there. The finish and the foul. It was good defense. It's close to being an offensive foul right there by Brewington, but Gomes comes up big again for the Friars.
Montplaisir picks up the personal. Gomes does convert the 3-point play. 3-point game. McGrath back in for the Friars. And Rob McKeever, the freshman, checks out. They're standing here at the Dunkin' Donuts Center as the press is on for the Friars, down by a tray. Sullivan being trapped. And stolen away by Gomes. Ahead to Brewington. Gomes puts it in. 1-point game.
Pressure's on right now. Hazelton was open. Get him the basketball.
Here comes the trapping press again, and a blocking foul called on Tuka Coetzee.
That's the pressure that I was talking about during the second half, because this is the kind of, frenzy you can create with pressure. The crowd, of course, involved, and you can get some quick hoops out of this thing, as you just saw Gomes put on. Great trap. I mean, that was just no man's land for Sullivan. Montplaisir is getting the ball against pressure, turning the right way up the court, but he's not throwing the ball up the court to Hazelton, who appeared to be open. You don't want to throw it backwards against pressure, because the press never goes away at that point. Oh, good ball game here again today.
That was a third foul on Coty. That'll be a lane violation.
That's unacceptable. If you're Rhode Island coach right there, Jim Barron, he might feel that, there was a little bit of a push there on J.R. Moore, but you just can't allow that to happen in crunch time. Sophomore
Was in the lane. 1 point deficit for Providence, and they've got the ball.
What happens here is you lean. You just can't allow to get a violation. Well, this is it. Crowd on their feet. Still a lot of time to go.
McGrath. Brewington. Gomes. Skip pass to McGrath in the corner. Still can't connect. The follow-on go, and Coty was fouled by Montplaisir. And he will go to the line. 4 fouls on Montplaisir.
Check it out. Coty will be coming from the weak side, the opposite side that ball is shot from. And he gets fouled by Montplaisir as he's going up. Good call. Montplaisir could not get back to put the body on Coty, and Coty has played a terrific game for the Friars. He's been around at key times all day for the Friars.
It was 48-42 Rhode Island with 3.5 to go. Now with 1.5 to go, it's a 1-point game. Providence calls the timeout.
Today's game is brought to you by BMW and the BMW 3 Series with all-wheel drive. Cooper Tires, proud to be the official tire of the Big East Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing. Now, good ball game here today. The rivalry in Rhode Island between URI of the Atlantic 10 and Providence of the Big East. Providence with the better record coming in at 4-3, just 1-4 for URI, but this game, you just put the records away and say, hey, let's tip it up and go after it. A lot of intensity. You see the free throw differential.
Tuka Coty misses. And his career high is 17. He's sitting on 16 points, but more importantly, he missed a chance for the tie and commits that one. All tied at 50 apiece. Everybody standing here at the Dunkin' Donuts Center. More pressure from the Friars, and they break it with a pass. That shot will not go. Chased down by Providence. Winding down towards a minute. Brewington to the basket.
Wow, what an emphatic hoop there by Brewington. Big basket.
They break the press quickly this time with under a minute to go.
3-point game, 2-point game right now. So again, if you're Rhode Island, plenty of time. You need to get a good look. 20 seconds on the shot clock. See if they can find Hazelton.
A 3-point attempt by Brooks. That will not go. He gets his own rebound in traffic. And stripped away. Who's going to get it? It's going to belong to Rhode Island.
Just all-out effort there. Again, as Rhode Island has had their trademark, the offensive board, they got it again. And Providence really turning the heat way, way up right now. Check it out. Brewington, just his second field goal of the game, but a big one.
He was 1 for 10 until that moment. Sullivan ridden by McGrath. Free throws coming up, and McGrath is hot.
John Cal with the call. He's one of the best, not only in the Northeast and the Big East Conference, where he does a lot of games in the country. Jim Barron not happy with that call, but you said it right, Andy. I think he was riding Sullivan. And it's 2 shots now because you've got the team fouls out there by Providence.
Oh, big miss by Sullivan.
That thing did everything but go in, and Sullivan has been blanked today. There's still 25 seconds to go, though. A lot of time.
And that will be a 30-second timeout called. So Providence is left with just 1 full timeout. URI has 1 full timeout as well.
Chess match now, Andy. You know, it's like, Jim Barron saying, hey, Ty Sullivan, you go out there, make the free throw, make it a 1-point game, and then if you're Providence, they can work the clock right now. It's going to be free throw time. I think you put pressure on after the made free throw, and then you look to reach. Someone like McGrath really hasn't scored in the game. He'd be a guy you might reach in on. Brewington, what you don't want to do is foul Gomes. You don't want to send Gomes to the line. Brewington, pretty good free throw shooter too at 70%. But you go for the steal, you make your free throw, and then even if you put Providence on the line and they make both, it's a 3-point game. You got a chance to make a 3 and tie the game up.
Even if Coty is fouled, he only shoots about 50% this year as well.
Yeah. It's going to be 2 shots, but the big thing is see if you can get Sullivan to knock this down. It's a big free throw.
Got it. So it's a 1-point game with 25.5 left. And Gerald Brown will come back in to replace Hankey.
That was big because even with the free throws now, it'll, worst case, it'd be a 3-point game for URI as opposed to a 4-point game. You don't want to foul Gomes. There's a good job by Providence to get him the ball. You want to reach, though.
Brown was fouled.
That was close. Brewington was open underneath. If Brown ever got rid of it, that would have been a quick basket.
So Moore picks up his 3rd personal. Tim Wells certainly breaking a sweat today. Brown is an excellent free throw shooter. A perfect 16 for 16.
But he hasn't scored today, so making that first one, always critical.
And there's his first miss of the year.
He's made his free throws, but in fairness to him, he really hasn't shot much in this game, so getting that first shot to go when you haven't been shooting the ball is always tough. Jim Barron takes, I think that's his last time out, Andy.
Yeah,
and again, just to set up and also make Brown maybe think about it. So, real chess match here down the stretch.
Indeed. 1-point lead for Providence, 52-51, 18.3 remaining. And URI is officially out of timeouts. Again, they have not beaten Providence 3 straight times in about half a century. So they're trying to make history today. And if they do it, winning 2 of 3 on this floor would be something else. But again, the final of this game is a long way from being determined. A lengthy 18.3 remaining for both of these teams. Providence has 1 timeout remaining, and again, URI is out of them. Providence has 2 remaining in this game. Thank you, Ray Perry. 2 timeouts remaining.
No matter how you look at it, it's been another classic matchup with these 2 teams. Low scoring to URI's advantage. They don't have the depth and the quickness that Providence has. And Gomes and Brewington, you want them in more of a half-court game. You've got a couple of key players that are out if you're URI. So again, they've done a great job. This game still has a long way to go with 18 seconds to go. So with 1 shot right here for Brown, he's got a chance to make this a 2-point game. And what Jim Barron stressed was either way, get the rebound, whether it's on a miss or a make. They've got no timeouts left. And bring the ball down the court and get a quality shot. I'm sure he set some kind of a screening action up to try to get the ball down there to Scott Hazelton. And Providence will be in pressure to get Brown to make the free, put some pressure on, but don't foul. Tim Welsh was stressing no fouling.
And Brown hits the second one. 2-point lead for the Friars. The Rams with the ball. Randall Hankey back in for Gerald Brown with that big free throw.
All right, backs off the pressure. Tim Welsh says, hey, let's not risk the foul, go man-to-man. And it's all about this possession right here with 18 seconds to go.
And counting. Hazelton.
He's the guy. They want him with this shot.
There he goes.
Got it.
And banks it in. What a shot by Hazelton, and we are all tied up with 5 seconds left.
Get it to Gomes. Get a quick look if you can this time.
McGrath to win it. Overtime coming up from the dunk.
Good look by Donnie McGrath. He just hasn't been able to get the bounce. Thought you might try to penetrate there, but a great job by Hazelton to send it into overtime. Yeah, it's probably the way it should go. These teams have really battled it out here today. Providence, you thought had it, but Rhode Island really hangs in there. We've got another 5 minutes to settle this thing, Andy.
Every year on, whether it's a game like last year when it was up and down at fast pace, or the year before when it certainly felt like an upset for Rhode Island, these two teams give us thrills every year.
Yeah, they do. I mean, you would think today that, you know, Providence would have the big advantage, but there's that big basket by Scott Hazelton. We said he had to have a very big game, and he's done it for Rhode Island. Big basket.
He beat Gomes to get it.
You know, you look at a Gomes, you look at a Hazelton here today. These guys are 6'8", 6'9". They can handle the ball. They can break you down off the dribble. Great job. Jim Barron working it, still working it hard over there. Tim Welsh. Huh? Everybody getting into it. Look at Hazelton's numbers. Got a big double-double today. First basket of the overtime session, always a big one. You're only playing 5 minutes. It can set the tempo. It can give you the momentum you need. Because remember now, the way this game's played, you know, low scoring, every possession important. Get that first basket in the extra session.
Hazelton with the 22 points, as we saw. His career high is 23. Tied up at 53. And Gomes, to this point, 20 points and 7 rebounds. And we'll see what happens in this. We say final 5 minutes. Who knows if this is going to be a final 5 minutes.
I like the move by Providence, too, with 5 seconds to go. They tried to go down and just see if they could put a shot up before the defense got set up. But I thought they would have been, if they could, get it to Gomes.
And Gomes was on McGrath's left there.
Yeah, it was a good look by McGrath, but you got to really push it, see if you can penetrate. And a lot of those game winners, a lot of times, you know, you get a clear look off of a penetrating move. But nevertheless, 5 more minutes to settle this thing here today.
And we'll see which starting lineups these teams come back to the floor with. When Providence needed to get back into it, they were running out of time. They went back to their starting 5. And then we saw people like Brown get into the mix, but it was basically the starting 5 for them to come back when they were down by 6 with 3.5 to go. Rhode Island, on the other hand, has really mixed it up, as they have all year long throughout the first now 6 games of the season. Randall Hankey will jump it up for Providence, and J.R. Moore will do the honors for Rhode Island. And Providence comes out of the pack with it, and stolen right back by URI.
Quick hands. You can't relax for a moment. There's so many quick players, and if you want to make a steal like that, flip up and away from the offensive player, and that way you won't commit the foul. Man-to-man by the Friars. Love the matchup. Hazelton and Gomes. 2 terrific ball players.
They're both so confident going after each other also. Another bank move by Hazelton. Coetzee ahead to McGrath.
Coetee's been great today for the Friars.
Burlington up and under. 2-point lead for the Friars.
Well, he's been held in check for much of the day, but that is Brewington at his best. So creative and quick.
Stolen right back. Gomes finds Brewington. Back to Gomes. Wide open 3. 5-point lead for the Friars.
I mentioned getting the first basket, huge, but to get the steal and knock that down, this is a big lead right now when you're in this type of, you know, low-scoring game in just a 5-minute ball game. Rhodey needs an answer.
23 points for Gomes. Blocked by Coetzee.
Coetzee, what can you say about the kid? He works so hard at both ends of the floor. You know, I think you got to think seriously about giving that man a game ball if the Friars able to get this thing done here today. He's done it at both ends of the floor. Big possession right now for the Rams. Still a lot of time now. However, when you're down 5 in such a tight possession game, you need to keep answering.
Sullivan swatted by Coetzee again. My goodness. Great timing.
Oh man, that's That's a swat right there. That's more than a block. That's a swat.
It's like Marcus Douthit reincarnated here.
He's thinking of even a Mecca Okafor from UConn. That kind of. Now, what you like the next time is maybe he'll keep it in play. It was so emphatic, he sent it out of bounds.
3.5 to go in overtime. Bate. A miss. Hazelton, offensive rebound. And he was fouled. Hazelton with an emergency rebound there. They had to get that one.
Now, right now, Jim Barron looking for answers as to who else might complement Hazelton out there from a scoring point of view. And he hasn't really found that yet this year. He's like to get a guy like, obviously, DeJuan Robinson back out there. But Hazelton seems to be all over the court.
23 points, career high now for Scott Hazelton. He is 6 for 6 from the line. Make it 6 out of 7. And that went off of Cote's body. It'll belong to URI.
Now, the boards have been a major problem for the Friars here today.
Sullivan to put it in play. McGrath right in his face. Hazelton slipped behind Hankey and banks it in. 2-point game. A reverse 3-point play for the Rams.
Very creative under there. You cannot allow a Hazelton to get that open under the basket. And a lot of grit in this Ram team. They're right back in it again.
Gomes finds himself open and can't connect. And the Rams with a chance to come right back and tie.
Well, you said it well. Maybe one session may not be enough today.
Here's Sullivan.
That's where your conditioning, everything comes into play right now. Your mental toughness, your conditioning, everything.
Will Daniels, too strong. And J.R. Moore with a rebound and then tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Rams.
Well, just joining us, we've talked about it all day, has been the offensive rebounding of the Rams has been sensational. And that's really been the key factor that's kept them in this ball game.
Into backcourt. Arthur Bate.
Close to a backcourt. Almost looked like Bate started in the front court and ended up in the backcourt.
Daniels will launch a 3. Long rebound chased down by the Rams. Bate out of nowhere to get it and find Sullivan.
Those are tough. Those are those long rebounds on the threes that can really kick out. Nice adjustment, zone by Providence. We haven't really seen this today. He's really doing a good job to bottle Hazelton up.
Sullivan loses his footing. It'll be a jump ball and remain with the Rams.
Good hustle by McGrath. Try to do the little things. The offense hasn't been there for McGrath, but boy, he got down there on the hardwood quickly that time. I'd step Hazelton out right now. He's really clogged up in the middle of the zone, which has been, I think, Tim Welsh's idea to put the zone on.
2-minute mark in OT.
The 21 there, he kicks out. They're trying to kick him out just to get him touches.
Sullivan blocked by Brewington. My goodness.
Well, Brewington is tall. Brewington's got long arms. He's 6'5". Ty Sullivan is 5'8". So Sullivan said, I got plenty of room to get this thing off, but not with that kind of quickness.
Here comes a long one as the shot clock expires. Providence College with a 2-point lead and the basketball.
Providence will just hold here, but I think for Rhode Island, they'll just stay in the zone. There's still a minute and a half to go. Providence will work some clock.
Here's Brewington on the right wing. They'll launch a 3 and bury it. Huge three-pointer for Dwight Brewington.
Brewington's really come up big late in regulation and in the overtime session.
Perhaps the biggest baskets of the day for Providence. Hazelton swatted by Hankey. That's 4 big blocks in overtime for Providence. And stripped away by Hankey, the freshman coming through there. Providence now 5-point lead with the basketball.
Now Providence really clamped down with the defense that time. They're rejecting shots now. Hazelton got sent back. Beautiful job by the freshman. Hankey just stays within himself, never leaves his feet. The lefty, a lot of times the left hand, and he is a lefty, blocks it. And then Brewington, he's in his rhythm. He just takes it. But a tough day offensively, and suddenly he finds himself with 9 points, most of them late in the contest and in overtime.
5 in overtime for Brewington. Hankey, the freshman, converts.
A lot of poise right there. The freshman, he's done a nice job today. Hankey, you know, handling the ball inside. Good defense the last time. The freshman's got the bright future in front of him.
This is that one. Still 2-possession game. Under a minute to go.
Well, Rhode Island needs one here. They may call a timeout if they get it to go.
Ooh. No good by Hazelton. Here comes Gomes, fouled by Sullivan. Hazelton with that long, almost out of control looking three-point attempt and banked it too hard.
Yeah, he's trying to force it a little bit there. I mean, just trying to make something happen. The zone, a nice adjustment by Tim Welsh in the overtime. Yeah, just that took sort of the isolation or the one-on-one opportunity for Hazelton out of the game. But I'll tell you what, it's been a tough battle here today, and Providence still needs to try to put it away. This thing won't be over till that final buzzer goes off today.
Gomes is 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 8 of 9 now.
Remember we said at the beginning of the game when we look down, we always see the numbers for Gomes. They're there again, and again, he just gets it out of the flow of the game, doesn't force it. It's a great player.
Another one for Ryan Gomes. 25 points. Just about half a minute left. Sullivan can't connect on the three, and McGrath tries to save it. It's out of bounds. It'll belong to Rhode. 64-56. 3-possession game. Missed on the three-point attempt. Out of bounds, it'll belong to Providence. And while it belongs to Providence, Rhode Island is running out of time. They couldn't hit some of those long bombs there. URI just 1 of 13 from the field in overtime.
They struggled shooting it. You know, really they struggled shooting it today. They just, you know, grinded it out in the backboard, played good defense, controlled the tempo, but Providence did what they had to do, which was a furious comeback at the end of regulation, put some pressure on, and came through. So at the end, you know, it's a good test, a great test for Providence. They're going to be able to pull this thing out, but a gritty effort by the Rams.
Similar to the game against Niagara, their first contest of the year when they pulled out the win. The preseason NIT, when it was very much like this. They barely squeaked it out at the end. This one will take overtime as Brewington misses. And we're going to see Jim Barron bring on some guys in the final 14 seconds. John Clark. Alex Davis is into the game, the junior out of Tucson. Terrence Mack back into the game as well. Some long faces for the Rhode Rams, but for a team 1-4, their longest losing streak under Jim Barron, I think they've got a lot of good stuff to look forward to, especially when their big guys come back in Robinson and Wise for the A-10 season.
That's exactly right. What your takeaway is for the Rams here is that they played really hard, and guys really played well. Nice move right there by Randy Brooks. So guys get confidence, and they know if they put it together, they will win games. And they push Providence to the wire here today.
Providence defeats Rhode Island for the first time in 3 years. Final score today 65-58. And as the head coach Tim Welsh has to feel awfully good about this one, just the fact that he got the win. But this one really could have gone either way down the stretch. But in overtime, Providence also, I thought, looked like they had a little bit more legs to it.
I think so too. I think Brewington, that big basket in the overtime session, followed up by Ryan Gomes. Gomes was there in crunch time. I thought Coach T played a great game. And you got to tip your cap to Hazelton and the Rams' effort in this ballgame, particularly on the boards.
So Providence runs their record to 5-3 as Rhode Island drops to 1-5, but a couple of very tight losses. This team, I think, has a lot to look forward to in the A-10. Providence picked to go the middle of the pack in the Big East, but showing an awful lot of heart today as they beat Rhode Island 65-58. This has been a presentation of ESPN+. the worldwide leader in collegiate sports television. For Ron Curry and our entire crew, I'm Andy Freed. Thanks for tuning in.